So, when do you become a pest? This is the thing that everybody worries about, right? I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to bother them. What I tell salespeople is that you need to plan a campaign from the beginning. In football, how many of you know what a Hail Mary pass is? A Hail Mary pass, for those who don't know, is thrown usually in the last play of the game when a team is down by less than one touchdown, and they're hoping they can get ahead by throwing a bomb across the field to somebody in the end zone, and they're hoping against all odds that somebody will catch it and they can maybe pull out a win. Most people, when I talk to them about doing this, think about throwing the Hail Mary pass. They throw it out there to see if it'll be caught. And when they don't hear back from the people, they just get disappointed. But the reality of it is, if you want to catch a touchdown pass, it comes from a series of plays, multiple plays that you march down the field. And you may start at the 20-yard line, and you have to have multiple plays full of first downs to keep advancing the ball. That's how it works in this thing too. You need to think from the get-go. You're probably going to have at least 10 contacts. And if you know that you're going to have at least 10 contacts, then you don't get disappointed when they don't call you back the first time. And they don't call you back, why? Because they're too busy. They're just too busy. So you need to, at least once a week, at least once a week. Did you hear that? At least. That means not every 2 weeks. And you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be a pest, right? See, she's nodding her head. And you need to know that these people, when they're listening to their emails and reading their the other way around, when they're reading their emails and listening to their voicemails, are sitting with their finger on the delete key. Because that's how they work. Because they have 150 email messages and 30 voicemail messages every day. And they're not going to call you back the first time or the second time. And in fact, they may delete your message right away a couple times because they're in such catastrophic conditions. The good thing about that, and by the way, even if you're leaving this message and you screw up badly, you'll be deleted right away. And it doesn't go into long-term memory. So you can call back the next day and sound intelligent, and they won't go, oh, was that idiot that called the other day that sounded so horrible? The good thing is they deleted you before they remembered your name. So you can call back, and that's good news. It is. I mean, seriously, you guys, you need to realize that most people think, well, I don't want to be a pest, so they space it out every 2 weeks, and then maybe do 3 or 4 attempts and think that their time is gone and they've lost it. Not nearly enough. 10 times, plan on it. Mix up email, voicemail, go back and forth. If you call, they're not there, you might want to punch through to see if you get a human voice and say, now, here's what you say. You say, I'm trying to reach Sam Smith. I've got an idea on how to. Can you please give me his email address so I can drop him an email? And then you're calling as a colleague, not, I'm hoping they'll hire me. And whatever you do, don't send a resume. Don't send a resume. Because the minute you send a resume, what do they do to you? You go back in the pile. You want to talk with them about an idea. You want to talk with them on some thoughts that you have on how they can. And that puts you in a different category. Or you might list in your email to them that you send out, you might list 3 things that you accomplished in your previous job and that you want to set up a time to talk about it. Now, Mark Hovind, the guy I mentioned from JobBait earlier, he says right now he works a lot with 6-figure executives, and his research is showing that 33% of them send out an email, just like Chapter 7 in that book. And he included 3 of those, which he never gives out. So Chapter 7 has 3 of Mark Hovind's direct mails that he sends, because he's finding direct mails work. He's finding that 33% of his people get jobs consulting from that letter. Because they don't have a job to hire people right now, but they get a job doing work in their field, which is exactly what they want. And then they get their foot in the door, and if they like them, they can, ultimately get the job. But read, I think it's Chapter 7, is that The letters chapter? Direct mail, that's it. Read that chapter because he does it in a blast mode, and it's fascinating. His work is absolutely fascinating because once you start being able to talk this way and have ideas and you've got your key things that you've done for people, you can send out the same message to multiple people. Just like I now can send out messages to people who are in sales because I know that new customer acquisition is huge. It's a huge problem for all the people that I want to reach. You can do some of the same things. And every one of you can address your warts head on too. If you don't try to hide them. You've been out of work for 17 months. Yep. It's there, so you might as well bring it up, because they're certainly going to see it. But you haven't been out of work for 17 months. You've been working on a lot of other things during that time as well.